What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we'll be taking a look at a title called Nordhold Origins. The Origins part being, I guess, the demo of this game, which is publicly available right now for anybody to play. I don't think it's any big secret that I'm not a huge fan of the tower defense genre. It takes a lot to get me out here to make a video about a tower defense game because I feel like the industry in that direction has more or less been stagnant for a very, very long time, but there are occasional standout games that are interesting, and this happens to be one of them. So, today we're going to play the game for about 30 minutes. We're going to see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games you'd rather not play for yourself. That's perfectly fine as well. The link is down below in the description. You can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream, just in case you wanted to shout at me live. But let's go ahead and dive straight on into a new run, and we'll kind of talk about what this game is, why it's enjoyable, and why I think it's a standout in the world of tower defense games for right now. So welcome to Nordhold. This is our city, and we can build up our city. There's also another thing that runs over to here that I haven't had a chance to build yet, but it is a roguelitified tower defense game that is much akin to something like Rogue Tower. If you ever played that before, the actual tower defense mechanics are a lot like Rogue Tower. There's actually a lot of the quality of life and things like that are folded on into here. Rogue Tower being one of the last tower defense games that I actually thought was really, really solid as well and spent like weeks playing. And so this half of the gameplay out here is very much like Rogue Tower and quite good, but we also have a city that we're building up on the in-between of waves where we've got to do a little bit of resource management, we've got to do worker management, we've got to make sure that we have all the things that we need in order to get ourselves situated. And so you've got this nice little management thing going in on the in-between, and then from there you get this, which is called honor. Every single time you survive a wave, you spend your honor to unlock things permanently that will just make your life easier, like flat buffs to your towers or new buildings, things of that nature, new magic spells, new heroes. Stuff like that can be unlocked using your honor. But for right now, what we need to do is we need to plan for the future. So what we need to do is we need to put down like 2 arrow towers, I think. Like 2 arrow towers should be perfectly fine for sort of like this beginning little era that we're trying to live in, and we'll try to put them on these little juts right here because that'll take care of probably the first 2 waves so that we can focus on other things. You have a population cap. It's very, very simple, although the UI in this game can get complex pretty rapidly if you start really diving down on into it. You'll see what I mean if we say open the tower menu right here. Everything is upgradable. Picking targets is very well delineated. You can make these towers do exactly what you want them to do in most cases, and so some very nice controls right there. But on our first day, what we really need to do is we need to hire a 4th worker, we need to build a house, and now that we've got that, I think what I'll probably do is build the granary, or I guess the wheat field. We'll put all 4 workers into wheat, I think, because the first 2 waves should be more or less gimmies. And so now that we've got that done and we're getting plus 40 to our wheat, we'll go ahead and explore the wilderness. That's going to make the map a little bit larger in procedural directions. You don't really know which way it's going to go. So for the first couple days, I found that it's really prudent to just sort of build around this last ditch effort defense area until you figure out which way the roads are going to curve, because then you can get really efficient. Like, let's say the road goes out and around this way and then back up this way. We could get a really, really, really efficient set of mortars right inside of here that can hit them there, that can hit them there, that can hit them all the way around to maximize its DPS for the entire run. But for right now, we only need, like, how many more villagers can I fit? I can fit 2 more villagers. Okay, we'll keep ourselves super jam-packed full of fun for right now, just to future-proof against anything else that might happen. I think 2 towers should still be good enough to deal with the second wave and then give us a little bit of breathing room to think about how we want to do this. The models in this game are very simple. It's kind of a hybrid between minimalist and something with a little bit more texture to it. There we go. All right, so they've all been taken down. I had to wait a second to see if they were going to make it on through. You can see the life points of our gate over on this side. However, there are exceptions to the rule. Every enemy that hits this will deal 1 damage. The exceptions being, if you end up having an elite, they deal 3 damage, and a boss instantly one-shots you no matter how much HP your wall has. So really the most prudent, intelligent idea here is to build for the first boss to make sure that whatever it is you're building, it does a lot of single target damage and will really mess somebody's day up. We have 90 wheat right there. That gets us up to another worker. And now that we have another worker, we're going to split things up a little bit more generously. And so I'll probably go for 3 wood right there. just to guarantee that we can get the stone quarry up and running on the next day, because I do think we're going to need some supplementary help. We've got a nice little spot right here where I think we should put an electrocution tower. That's a really good spot for it. We don't know exactly which direction this is going to go. Okay, it decided to straighten out on us, which is not what I wanted. I was hoping it would loop back the other way so that I would have a few more tactical options. But this guy fires chain lightning. It bounces in between these guys. It softens them up. It gives them a better chance to die. And it looks like he cleared out like 2 of them before they got to the tower, which means that these 2 arrow towers should be able to mop up, except that they're shooting at the same targets. Not ideal. I was actually watching for that when I was playing the game prior to this recording, because that's one of my principal annoyances in tower defense games is when your towers fire 2 shots at the same guy, even though the first shot would have killed him. This is the next thing the game has going. If you notice in the top right-hand corner, there's kind of like a little sun wheel, or like a little schedule of events. The schedule of events, they're going to allow you to take perks that boost up certain types of your towers or give you certain economic advantages, things like that to sort of randomize the process outside just the road placement. And I think this is a really good thing. So we can get opening blitz. That makes our arc tower deal 70% or 50% more damage to anybody with higher than 70% health. That's probably my pick. That's a very, very strong one. We've also got Timberwind Mark. That means that for every arrow tower that we build, we get wood for each arrow tower, and they get a flat damage bonus, which is nice. We can also get chain crits, so whenever our arc tower critical hits, so every time our arc tower critically hits, it further increases that tower's chance to hit. And so I'll probably go with opening blitz right here, but we do have the option to re-roll if there's nothing in here that fits along with the principal strategy that we're trying to play around with. Your towers do upgrade as they kill enemies or as they get to certain waves or as they've been deployed long enough. As I don't know if they have to hit like certain thresholds or whatever. I haven't really checked into it just yet. But anyways, your towers do level up on their own. You can also spend money to make them stronger. I would probably say let's boost up the range on this guy so that it can fire for a little bit longer. And then this guy right here, the range boost isn't really going to help him that much. Instead, we'll go for a fire rate increase, I think. This guy, I boosted his range because I want him to be able to shoot all the way till they get to the wall. Because I've had like one guy sneak through just due to that little range limitation right there. And now I'm paranoid about it in the future. Looks like I can get a Raven Tower right now if I wanted to spend my honor. I will spend my honor. The Raven Tower unleashes extremely destructive shots over a huge range. That does sound pretty spicy. I need to get some runestone towers up before too long, otherwise we're just not going to make it. And so I'm going to build a quarry over here, and now that I have the quarry all situated, we'll take that down and we'll put that up to right there. Actually, we'll go full on the quarry for right now because I haven't really spent a lot of stone on towers just yet. And so I think getting like a big batch of 30 will probably help out right there. Might also be worth it looking into the tavern. I haven't played around with the tavern just yet. I've done about 5 or 6 runs. And so I don't think there's much else for us to do except summon the next wave. Wow, they're giving us a straight thoroughfare right now. Normally there's a branch right here that I was hoping we would get. Zappy Boy Tower, go get him. The more pain and hurt you can cause, the happier I'll be with you. It's less cleanup work for the arrow towers anyways. There we go. Get a couple kills on the board. Didn't get that last shot off, but it should still be good enough, I think. There we go. Perfect. Now we've got a little bit of stone so that we can start putting in home wreckers. Those towers that are really going to cause a lot of headaches for the enemy. The runestone tower should more than likely go right there. That's a really good spot for it. So put the runestone tower right there. The runestone tower, it gives you a death ray that just like blasts the enemy into submission. It's just a channeled death ray that swaps in between enemies as it kills them. Very, very useful stuff. Tomorrow, I think we should have a new worker. Oh, we're just shy tomorrow for a new worker, huh? All right, well, we'll put in 30 then just to get that extra worker. And I don't think we have much else to play with. So just explore the map. Hopefully this extra tower, it should be bringing a lot of DPS. I've been measuring the DPS after runs on things, and I think these towers right here should be really, really nasty because he's going to soften a lot of these guys up so that the electrical tower can just instantly AoE zap them to death. These guys tend to work really well in collusion with one another. I'll probably put another one right there so that the enemy's got to walk through something nasty in order to get here. We've got our first hero. Heroes give you society-wide bonuses, and they also give you active spells that you can throw at the battlefield while the enemy is invading. So this guy right here will make our volcano mortars fire a lot faster. I don't know if volcano mortars are going to be the play on this map, though. Volcano mortars tend to get their best DPS and their best performance on very squiggly maps that are very twisty and loop back on themselves with lots of U-bends and cut banks and things like that. We don't really have that. Volcano towers tend to struggle on straightaways because then it just comes down to range limitations. So I don't know if I'll take that. We can get a free item chest, and then we can get more beer productivity. We can get gold per worker, and he'll drop off 100 wood. I'll go with the 100 wood. 100 wood sounds nice. I think we can do 100 wood because that allows me to expand society a little bit more and play around with some new things. So we can get a trade post over there. If we had 65 stone, we can get the statue. I'll probably take... Let's get the gold mine moving. And then we'll reserve the rest of this for, like, another arrow tower that just harasses right there. That seems like it'll be okay. We do have a little loot back on this side, but first I got to get my extra worker. So let's hire another worker. Now that we've got the worker, you can see these upgrades on the left for these buildings. These upgrades on the left are only for this run. The upgrades on the right are the ones that last permanently. It will also give you a tech tree that has every single one of these right side meta progression upgrades on it every single time you finish a run so that you can look at it. So you don't need to do it in-game on the fly. You can kind of like hold on to your honor and just sort of like do your own thing. Now that we don't need food at the moment, I would maybe suggest, we've got stone coming in, so that's nice. Maybe we'll boost up stone a little bit. We'll put like one extra into gold, and maybe we'll put one right there into wood. I don't know what I'm going to do next, and I don't know what this next attack is going to look like. I'm a little bit on the rocks about it. That does give him a little bit of extra range to fire. Yeah, let's give him a little bit of extra range. Why not? He's earned it. I don't know if that arrow tower right there was a good idea, but no loop right there, but I might be able to do a mortar over here-ish, and it might work out okay. Let's do that. Let's start chucking some fire at the enemy. I feel okay with that pick. Death Ray doing a great job right now, whittling down the enemy. The Death Ray has a perk that it can get through like your little banner upgrades that makes it get an extra damage for like every second that it's channeling. Oh, it's so good as a boss melter, dude. It's such an amazing boss melter. It's actually really, really helpful. Okay, so we've got barbed arrows here. Barbed arrows are going to put a bleeding debuff that stacks up to 3 and slows the enemy down. We can get the Timberwind mark again just to get some free wood and to get some extra damage out of our arrows. Or we can get Runic Fire Aura. Increases the fire rate of towers inside the radius of the runestone tower. I'll probably take that. I don't really have anything inside of its range right now, but I can work on that, I guess. Yeah, give me another zapper right there, I suppose. And now that we've got a little bit of cash, we get a market offer after this round, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough gold to buy anything. There's also a merchant that comes around every single run, like every 5 or 6 days. They sell you relics that basically are like free banner choices. Let's see how this goes. I would have liked to have had a second one of these up and running by now, but with the sped up 15% firing rate shock tower right there, we may actually have a 1-2 punch that'll work out pretty well. My biggest concern is just that we don't have a lot of synergies in our banners right now. It would be cool if the banners you take, they lined up on the walls too. Maybe they do. I do see banners on the walls. I'll check the next time. Yep, just keep zapping away. Arrow towers picking them off. But we do have a couple of armored guys coming on in. They've got different bars, and this is where I started to notice that I'm guessing the developer of this game was probably a fan of Rogue Tower. Different characters have different colored bars that have like different resistances from what I can tell. It's the same in Rogue Tower. Like some guys have shield, and certain towers can only get through shield. And then you've got other guys that have like auras or something like that. It's been a while since I played the game last, but this runestone tower over here, it's only getting a 0.5 on its range if I do that. I don't know if that's implicitly worth it. I'd say maybe let's get some penetration on it, actually. We'll put a little bit of penetration on it for the blue guys so that it hurts them a little bit more. I only have enough money right now to build another one of those, but what I really want... The Raven Tower is pretty sick, so I kind of want to test out the Raven Tower, too, and see what it does. But either another runestone or a Raven Tower. We're doing a little bit of experimentation right now with towers that I haven't seen before, and so we'll kind of see how it plays out. I've got 45 wood. 45 wood would get me the trading post, which allows me to trade things around, but our economy is so tight right now that I don't know if that's going to be incredibly important. Maybe I'll use some of that wood to put an arrow tower right there just for some extra opening damage. Now we finally got a branch where we can pick which direction we want to go in. I'll go up for right now. Unfortunately, it's not going to help out with our range, but we do want to get some mortars in here about as soon as we possibly can to sort of like boost this thing up and make it work better. I also need this guy to be firing at the largest grouping of enemies rather than firing at whoever has the most HP. So we swapped him on over. It's definitely ignoring armor a little bit better. They may sneak on through here, though. I got a couple towers in the back that are good to go. Some of them got through there with a lot more HP than I would have liked. Last couple arrow towers are definitely going to have to do some heavy lifting here, but I think we need to bring our DPS up. Give him more damage, give him more damage. And we made it through. We kind of like snuck our way through. It wasn't perfect. It looks like whenever I cast a spell, I can gain some gold. We can get 30 stone at the end of the wave if no towers were built. That's kind of nice. We can also get the Bannerlord's Sigil, which increases our chances of getting better banners. I'm not a huge fan of any of these, so I think I'll just leave it alone. Can I get some stats on this Raven Tower? That is a chunky tower. It's got some pretty ridiculous coverage. I would say maybe put it right there and just see how it does. I don't know what its function is. It looks like it does a ton of damage, but it only fires... Well, it doesn't fire altogether that frequently, so we would have to boost that up by quite a bit. I'm going to take a guess and say that we probably want this to target whatever has the most health on the field just to soften it up, and then we'll probably go with a bit more range on the volcano mortar, I guess. I've never tried this tower out, so we're just going to have to kind of see how it plays, but we're getting towards where they're going to start sending bosses at me, and so... I mean, it is vaporizing some of the stiffer targets, so he's basically like a hardcore sniper that's up there, just making things happen. I mean, if they can thin out at least a couple of the blue guys with one-shots, that does make my life easier. It does not fire very fast, though, so it's probably not going to give us a whole lot of wins here. However, they are getting to the money region of our misery here. A couple of fast ones got through. Give me some more fire rate. I don't know if they're going to sneak through. I think if they can get the fast and speedy ones out of the way, we might be okay. Oh, they're firing at whatever has the highest health. That's what happened. Okay. Well, one guy snuck through. And I feel like that's an okay cost to pay just to test out a new tower, I suppose. So we've got Lucky Shot. Arrows from the arrow tower deal more damage and have a chance to fire an extra shot. If we were leaning super heavily into arrow towers, that would probably be like a game winner because you're trying to proc that chance as much as possible. We can get Twin Feathers over here. What Twin Feathers will do is it gives him 2 shots, but it lowers his damage down to 60%, which is still a 20% increase, and it's splitting the shots between 2 different targets. However, when the boss gets here, we're going to want it to focus entirely on him with as many shots as it can possibly get off. So maybe take runestone towers and boost those up a little bit. I don't know if this is the boss wave that's going to be coming in, but I am catastrophically low on everything right now. I suppose I could put that there inside the radius of that building to increase its fire rate, but 15% on top of... What's the fire rate on that thing? Let me take a little look-see. 15% of 0.2 is not very much. So you're honestly not probably looking at that big of a DPS boost. What I need to do is I need to save up for another round so that I can get another runestone tower. But I think this might be the boss wave. I guess I can always deploy a tower mid-run. We'll keep this back here and we'll see if the boss shows up. Put that right there. Yeah, give me another lobber. I got nervous, dude. I chickened out. The Bandit King is here, so we're probably hosed. I don't think we have the DPS to really do a whole lot against the boss right now. I mean, it did knock a decent chunk off his health, though. Like, he definitely felt it. But we didn't really get any of the cool mods on this run. Like, there's cool mods that, like, every mortar leaves a giant fire pit on the ground. There's a bunch of, like, little things that we just did not get on this run because, of course, every single time I record a game, I do not get the super fun things that make the game stand out and look awesome. I always get the worst possible picks. That's the curse of being on YouTube and doing this. However, I want to assure you that there are very, very cool perk picks in here. The real question is he going to get another shot off? He did get another shot off. Hopefully we can melt this dude right here. We may have him. Yeah, I think we're good there. We actually got him. Good for us. All right, so we can get a legendary reward. Damage to arrow towers are nice. Wide blast. Yeah, increase the area effect of the mortar tower. That sounds good. What do you have? All building construction costs fall by 50%, but not towers. That's pretty good, too. All right, I take back what I just said about never getting the good stuff while I'm on camera. Let's get this arrow tower, and I just want damage, dude. Just damage for days. I wish that guy's fire rate was a little more reliable. But we don't really have anything to deploy for right now. How much food did I need for that last worker? Oh, I needed 35 in order to build. Okay. I need to keep stone chugging along at the rate that it's currently chugging along. If not in excess of how it's chugging along right now. I don't know what's going to happen with the next wave because I've always died on that boss up until now. But it looks like as the battlefield gets larger, we've also got some quality of life updates that allow us to jump around the field a little bit better. So these guys have block. And they're pretty fast, in all honesty. Oh, wow, dude. So his death ray doesn't do anything to block? Who does something to block? Definitely not him. Oh, no, dude. Okay, so block is a problem. How do I deal with block? Oh, it's a chance to just nullify that damage. So it's not even like mitigation. It's just they do not take damage from that damage tick. Ugh, that's a rough one, dude. Not in love with that. That's hurtful. That makes me feel bad about myself. Well, they're on into the tower now, so we lose. But there was no way to see that coming since I hadn't been this far. This game is full of little gotchas like that, but then again, Rogue Tower was full of little gotchas like that as well, and it's kind of what made the game more interesting. We can unlock a building here. An oracle lets me look into the future. Sure, let's get the oracle, and we'll see what the oracle does for us. From there, I think starting out with much, much, much more stone sounds like the kind of thing that I want to start out with, because it seems like a lot of my initial defenses rely on stone in order to get the job done. So we'll kind of do the same thing here that we did last time in building houses and getting things done, so that I can fully deploy everybody to the mill except for like one guy that's going to help me out with like wood maybe. I have 55 left though. I suppose I could just build the quarry right now and start the quarry rolling a little bit earlier. Yeah, let's get the quarry moving. Why not? We will put down one arrow tower right there, and then we will just kind of like bait and see what the game has in store for us. So does penetration So penetration is like, it ignores it by 25%. So you kind of need to get the money together to have at least one building that nullifies that. But in combination with their massive health pools, I gotta figure out a way to defeat that. Now, we've got the perfect spot right here for a runestone tower. So we'll just get an early runestone tower real rapidly, and that should solo most of the opening salvos for us. We need 60 in order to get another worker. All right, we'll just keep chugging with exactly what we have right now on the grid. Open up the map, and we'll let these guys run on past. But this is good. This is really good. I haven't gotten an enthusiastic feeling about a tower defense game since, like, Creeper World or since Rogue Tower. Most of them are pretty reductive. I guess there was a couple other ones that I was interested in, but all of them were making, like, extensive use of, like, AI assets and art and stuff like that, so I couldn't cover it. Got that right there. Okay, keep that moving. I need as much stone as you can give me, baby. As much stone as you can give me. But this is promising. Like, I think if this continues to develop out in the way that it's going, I think it's going to be a banger game. I think it's going to be enjoyable. Like I said, I don't like this genre. In general, I ignore tower defense almost entirely because not a lot of interesting stuff ever happens with tower defense games. However, that being said, one does come across, like I said, every now and again, one comes across that's got some interesting ideas in roguelitifying the process and making the game feel a little bit better to play and the genre feel a little bit fresher than it did previously, and I would dare to say that this is probably one of them. This game is called Nordhold. It's interesting. I want to see what kind of content they can get on in here, because my biggest thing with Rogue Tower was that, like, once I did all the content and got super far into the game and had all the unlocks and everything else, there wasn't really a whole lot of other, like, there wasn't a whole lot of additives to the game, I guess, that they added in as time went along. And so this very much has me in a spot that I think I'm pretty pleased with. Nordhold, check it out. I got a link for you down below if you wanted to go play the demo for yourself. Some people will find, I think, the roguelitification of it to be like hard stopgaps to your progress, but that's the cost of doing business with a roguelite, you know what I mean? Like, that's just roguelite 101. That's what roguelites do, is that at some point in a roguelite, you're very, very rarely ever going to beat a roguelite on your first run. The treadmill for unlocking things and getting more powerful stuff is kind of the reason why people play those sorts of games. And so I think the game's pretty cool. I think it's enjoyable. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for stopping on in. And I think that's all I've got for you for right now, folks. Bye.